Alright, fellas, let's rank every single weight class from the worst of all time, going from the most shallow and boring division all the way through to the best weight class that has all of the best names and is feeding generations every time the division has a fight. Whether it's from ranked fighters or even prospects, the division is stacked. So we're going from the worst to the best, and kicking it off dead last, we have Blobville. We have got the heavyweight division. The heavyweight division, where do I even start? This division is a complete mess. It is the most shallow division. There's only a handful of decent guys in there, and the skill gap between this division and even second last place is pretty damn big, because there's honestly just a bunch of like these lugging, swanging, bang kind of fighters in the division.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit that I have ever heard.
And there's barely any technical guys, aside from some of them that are in the top 5, like Tom Aspinall, who's barely even fighting, Cyril Gane, who everyone hates. Alex Pereira is a good addition, he's just been chinned.
That's fucking illegal.
Then we've got Josh Hokett, who is honestly single-handedly giving that division some form of actual dimension at the moment. And Waldo Cortez Acosta, and we've got like decent guys coming up like Brando Perisic, Volta Walker, Mario Pinto. They've got Gable Steveson as well, even though he's pretty green. There is still good fighters in this division. But overall, it's really not salvaging much of it, especially in comparison to every other division, because we got these blobs like Marcin Tybura, Tai Tuivasa. We got Taliesin Teixeira, who is looking to be a good prospect. He's getting folded left, right, and center. So realistically, when it comes to the actual talent pool, it's there, but it's really, really limited. And most of the fights you would expect from these big heavyweight guys, there would just be KOs absolutely all over the shop. But there are so many boring ass decisions in this division, and realistically, considering how many heavy hitters there are, we're barely getting any KOs. So realistically, every time that there is a heavyweight, either main event or somewhere near up the rankings, really I'm not that entertained and I'm not that keen. And they just really have been disappointing for the last decade or so, since, you know, guys like Junior Dos Santos or Cain Velasquez or Stipe was in his prime, DC, since those times, since they've been gone, the division has been pretty arse. And also when it comes to inactivity, bloody John Jones cooked this damn division because he didn't want to fight Tom Aspinall. He was ducking him, he choked up the entire division, which just made things so much worse.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. Shit, I'm saying.
And also when it comes to the skill gap, you either have guys that are decent with a ground game or decent with a striking game, and unless you're like a couple of guys in the top 5, you really just don't have a combination of both. There's barely any well-rounded guys in the division. I mean, there's longevity within the division. You know, a lot of the guys that are decent go through to like 36, 37, 38, even like 40 years old. You even look back at like Randy Couture, who was like 45.
I miss you so much.
But I feel like that longevity isn't a good thing when half of the fights in this division are absolute arse. So heavyweight, without a doubt, is a complete mess, and it is 100% last place. Now, in its second last place, which is probably going to surprise a few of you, it's the light heavyweight division. And look, honestly, it's not as bad as heavyweight, especially in terms of actual talent, which isn't hard. But I've got to say, it is without a doubt my least favorite men's division, especially when you're comparing it to how good it was back in the early 2000s when it was the best division, without a doubt, where you had guys like Randy Couture, Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz, just finishing guys, having good title reigns. It was just peak. But in comparison to that, the best we've had from this division has been Alex Pereira going on a really good just finishing streak up until he fought Ankalaev, which is definitely a con within this division in terms of popularity.
Nobody even wants you here.
And the big problem is, we don't have Alex Pereira in this division anymore. He's moved up to heavyweight, so we really can't account for him right now. And he was someone that really held the division together in terms of actual shock factor, getting good finishes, and actually being a name in the division. Because right now, we don't have any crazy big names. I mean, we had Yuri Prochazka, but the guy's getting finished every second week. And yes, we got like Khalil Roundtree, who's always entertaining. We got Carlos Olberg, but they're not big entertainment guys outside of the cage. They're great in the cage, but they aren't guys that have these massive personalities. And granted, we get guys like Paulo Costa, Robert Whittaker, and like Renier de Ridder up from middleweight, which is definitely boosting the division, but it's definitely not boosting it enough to be better than any of the divisions that are in front of it. Honestly, it's the most boring division that we have in terms of name value, any form of entertainment on mics or anything. There isn't a single guy except for Paulo Costa who has terrible English that is really giving us any form of entertainment except for being in the cage.
And number 4, I could ask to fight Robert Whittaker, right?
But in terms of being in the cage, the division's somewhat decent, I gotta say. When it comes to the ranked guys and when it comes to prospects as well, like Navajo Sterling coming through, Iwo Baranowski as well. The division isn't crazy deep, but it does have some guys that can actually perform pretty well and put on some decent fights. But it also puts on some bloody stinkers. We got like Johnny Walker versus Dom Reyes, Ankalaev versus Bogdan Guskov, all absolute trash fights, gotta be honest. And I'm never excited for a light heavyweight headliner, in all honesty. It's my least favorite division for headlining anything. Even when Alex Pereira was fighting guys, I was like, we kind of know Alex Pereira is just going to destroy this guy. Up until Ankalaev, who is arguably the best fighter in the division, and almost everyone hates him. So it's realistically one of the driest men's divisions without a doubt, especially when it comes to entertainment from personalities. It's just drier than a prune, man. I really just don't like the light heavyweight division, and we need some more personalities in this division ASAP if it wants to be any better. Now, next up, we are really following a theme here, and I really tried to go against it, but I just can't. Middleweight is the next division. It's definitely better than light heavyweight and heavyweight because it is deeper, but these heavier weight classes just suck compared to the lighter weight classes, plain and simple. I mean, middleweight is the better argument in terms of the heavier weight classes because it has a handful of decent names. You know, we've got Dricus du Plessis, who's good at getting under everyone's skin, so he has that entertainment value out of the cage and in the cage. Then we have Chimaev as well, who is, of course, just entertaining in both rights. And then we have guys, especially skill-wise, that are entertaining. You know, like Imavov, we got Joe Pyfer, we've got Ko Corralio, Fluffy Hernandez, Robocop as well, who all do have pretty different styles, but are all very skillful. The only issue is, aside from guys like DDP, Chimaev, and of course bloody Sean Strickland, is the personalities. Again, just like light heavyweight, middleweight has a real lack of personality, especially going from the top 5 and out. It's just boring. We've got great guys in terms of actual skill, like Yusri Belgoroy, Christian Leroy Duncan, Damian Pinas. These guys are just absolute beasts, and coming through for skill, this division is great. But in terms of an entertainment factor, Sean Strickland, Chimaev, and Dricus du Plessis are carrying this whole entire fucking division. And in terms of having this era with these guys in it, it's decent. But it's not as good as the eras that we had with like Anderson Silva and Israel Adesanya. I just like those eras better. We had Izzy and Paulo Costa's trash talk and rivalry, Izzy and Marvin Vettori. We had Anderson Silva and Chael Sonnen. We had a lot of good back and forth moments, and Sean Strickland and Khamzat Chimaev, like, they were so entertaining up until the point they looked like they just faked the whole entire thing, which sucked ass, and it really actually damages the division.
Oh, come on!
So realistically, it's even hard to carry through Strickland's personality because it's sometimes just really looked at as fake. So there's not really any crazy kind of entertainment value outside of the cage when it comes to the division as a whole. So it's one of the driest divisions. I will say for skill set wise, it is very entertaining. We've got a lot of diverse guys, like great grapplers. We've got great strikers. We've got guys that can mix it up. But there's no real beef in this division. I mean, the best we got at the moment is bloody Brendan Allen and Dricus du Plessis. So Brendan Allen is bringing all the entertainment between him and DDP and him and Marvin Bloody Vittori, you know the division is in damn trouble. And the fact that we've got guys like Israel Adesanya, like Michael Venom Page, like Kamaru Usman, who are in the division, but realistically, they're almost all 40 and are on their way out. It's really hard to see this division at the moment in terms of just having a great mix of entertainment and skill. We have some pretty boring guys in the rankings, like Brendan Allen. I mean, we've got Ikram Aliskerov and Bo Nickel, who are pretty bloody overrated at this point as well. Just the fact of the matter is, plain and simple, like light heavyweight and heavyweight, it's just simply not entertaining enough. And skill-wise, this division is decent, but compared to all the others, it's just not competing. Now moving on, and don't worry, it's getting a lot better from here because the heavier weight classes are out of the way and the lighter weight classes have just been better for like over a decade now, honestly. And that is obviously inclusive of the Bantamweight division. And this is a great segue because when it comes to the skill difference compared to the heavier weight classes, having a champion like Petr Yan is the best display of how the skills are better in these weight classes.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
We not only get great skilled fighters, we get some of the most entertaining fights from most of the guys in the bantamweight rankings. I mean, firstly, Yan versus Merab 2 for the title. The last title fight was absolutely insane. We had Sean O'Malley versus Eamon Zahabi at the White House, completely delivered. Mario Bautista versus Corey Sandhagen. Mario is one of the most hated guys in the UFC, has been consistently putting on entertaining fights. Even with the hated guys in this damn division, it is really hard to disappoint. And most of these guys in this division are well-rounded. I mean, we got great fighters that are consistently well-rounded, like Umar Nurmagomedov, like Mario Bautista, like Corey Sandhagen, like Petr Yan, like Song Yadong. I can go on and on. We've also got guys in this division that are so popular for their styles specifically as well, like Sean O'Malley as a striker, ridiculously popular.
You know what I mean? And, you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
You know what I mean?
You know what he means?
No.
We got Merab, who is super popular for just drowning everyone. And we've even got Marlon Vera because of his durability. Like, we've got guys everywhere that are just very popular in their own right. And that's just at the top of the rankings. I mean, just look at the prospects as well. We've got David Martinez. We got Charles Jourdain. We got Peyton Talbot. We even got guys like Elijah Smith and Cody Haddon as well, who are looking like absolute killers. So the future of this division is definitely in good hands. But even now, there's just so many great fighters. But as a whole, even though we've got a lot of entertaining guys, it's not a super finish prone division. That doesn't mean it's a bad division, but you still want a division to have those crazy KO moments. And I think the guys, especially now, are just so skilled in this division and the fights are so competitive. It makes it really entertaining in that right, but in terms of getting actual finishes and just crazy signature moments, it's a little harder to come by. And especially when you had a guy like Merab Dvalishvili, who was just destroying everyone by decision. Even moving on from that, Yan is now the champion. I think things are just going to change, and it's really just unleashing the bantamweight division, because if Yan beats Merab in the trilogy, we get Yan versus Sean O'Malley, we get Yan versus Umar, we get crazy striking fights that are prone to finishes. I just think this division, in terms of moving forward, it's just going to be going in a positive direction, just an upward trajectory. I think bantamweight is easily one of the best divisions, but at the moment, I just think because of that finishing problem, I just can't rank it higher than any of the other divisions at the moment. But compared to middleweight, light heavyweight, and heavyweight, a pretty considerable jump. Now moving on and up a weight class, we have got the 145-pound division. We have got featherweight, and this has got a lot of solid names. And the big reason why featherweight is over bantamweight is realistically the depth. It is extremely deep when it comes to talent, especially outside of the rankings coming up. This division is definitely in safe hands, and it's in safe hands right now because Volk is the champion, which means my life is at peace. But aside from Volk, it really honestly does have a nice mix-up of styles. It's got some of the most exciting fights consistently as well. And a lot of dangerous fighters throughout the entire division, because any fight that has Gene Silva, Arnold Allen, Aaron Pico in the rankings, and we also get guys that are really explosive towards the top of the rankings and outside, like Josh Emmett, Steve Garcia, Vinicius Oliveira, that are just kill or be killed, which is what Bantamweight is missing. But on top of that, just the prospects, man. Some of the best prospects easily in the entirety of this organization. Like, we get Kevin Vallejos, who's coming through, Tommy McMillan. Like, these guys are just so entertaining. Like, take my damn money. And in terms of boring fighters, on the contrast, I mean, people can say like Movsar Evloev and Aljamain Sterling, but honestly, especially the fight between the two of them, I just think that grappling contrast is really important to build out the division and just have more depth in it. And those guys bring out the best in their opponent's grappling. So I really think even with those guys who are considered boring, they just bring more depth to the division and make the division more well-rounded. I honestly don't have many arguments against this division. It's one of the greatest divisions for technical skill. Like, it's not as crazy on like the entertainment side of things in terms of like being on the mic, like similar to middleweight and being outside of the cage. Like, you don't get like a massive amount of wars either, but you still get more entertaining fights than bantamweight. I just think the biggest pull for featherweight at the moment, man, it's just the actual skill set of the guys that are in the rankings right now, but especially how exciting the contenders are outside the rankings and just the pure depth that just beats out bantamweight and those other divisions at the moment. But between bantamweight and featherweight, it's very neck and neck. I barely have any complaints for either of those divisions. Now, moving on and moving up the weight classes, we actually have welterweight. This is my personal favorite for the actual names that they have in the division, because we get the GOAT, we got Islam Makhachev, we've got KO machines like Carlos Prates, Michael Morales, Uros Medic in the rankings. And then we get some of the best grapplers like Gabriel Bonfim, Sean Brady, and Yaroslav Amosov as well. And like even Ian Gary to an extent. He makes things entertaining for all the wrong bloody reasons. So you got all bases covered here realistically. And the thing about welterweight at 170 pounds, it is the balance. It's the perfect weight to have a mix of great technique, great speed, but also having great moments with knockouts with that power generation that this division has. I mean, arguably the most well-rounded division with a strong amount of finishes in combination, which is a difficult thing to come by. And that doesn't just come from ranked guys. That comes from prospects too. Like, we got Jacoby Smith, one of the greatest prospects at the moment, Michael Oliveira. We have got John Cork. We have got Sam Patterson as well, as long as he's not fighting MVP. All of the prospects, great. The depth for this division, great. We are moving in a good direction here, and even now it is still in a really, really good spot. So ultimately, there's really not much I can say that's bad about this weight class. It's just that the two weight classes that I have ahead of it either have the biggest names in it or are literally flawless performance-wise. But in terms of a personal favorite, welterweight is honestly my personal favorite. And that's even when you have Shavkat Rakhmonov, who's one of the most entertaining guys in the UFC period, and he's not even in the rankings at the moment. And we even have Bilal, remember the decision, Muhammad in there, and it's still my favorite. That's showing that this division has levels. Now, in its second place, and the main reason why I wanted to make this video, flyweight, man. 125 pounds. I absolutely love how this division was looked as an absolute joke for almost a full decade to now easily being one of, if not the most entertaining weight class right now, and has been consistently again and again and again, year after year after year. This division does not fucking miss. I cannot remember the last time this division had a boring fight. It has the highest output fights. It has the craziest scrambles on the ground. No one lacks bloody cardio, and the skill level is so ridiculously high with so many young contenders, and most of the time the flyweight division's getting fight of the night on top of that. It's honestly the fact that it's got the fastest and most skilled fighters in the UFC at that weight class consistently, with the most high volume entertaining fights with consistent finishes as well for being such a lightweight class. It's really hard to argue this being any lower, and it's extremely easy to argue as well that this could be number one. I'm really a 50-50 coin flip here, because tell me a top 5 ranking of Joshua Van, Alexandre Pantoja, Brandon Royval, Manel Cap, and like Tatsuro Taira, that is more damn entertaining fight after fight after fight. Those guys are like the Avengers for depression. They absolutely inject dopamine into my fucking bloodstream. They are so entertaining all the damn time. And it's not even just them. It is literally the whole entire weight class. There's no one damn boring. And just the fights. I mean, I can only list a few, otherwise this video is probably going to go for an hour. But Joshua Van versus Brandon Royval. Obviously fight of the year. Pantoja versus Moreno for the title. I know it was a little while ago. Still, it feels fresh in my brain because it was an absolute barn burner. And just so many more. Like, it's just insane. There has never been a boring flyweight title fight either. Always full of volume. Guys are getting dropped. Insane scrambles. They always damn bring it. I can pretty much say no bad things about this division, aside from in terms of the actual name value of the fighters. That's the only thing, because when it comes to divisions like Bantamweight and Flyweight specifically, usually their title fights are behind a heavier weight class. But realistically at this point in time, with how they perform consistently, make them the main event. Just like Joshua Van and Alexandre Pantoja are now, I have absolutely no damn complaints. And the only thing that this division needs is probably just a bit more drama when it comes to being in combination with the name value of the fighters. Like, there's not a whole lot of bad blood, which is good sometimes, but you know, we've got Pantoja and Joshua Van beefing at the moment, but aside from that, there's not a whole lot. But in terms of fight-to-fight entertainment, holy shit balls. This is without a doubt the best division the UFC has. Now, in at first place, I don't think you guys are going to be surprised, and I will be surprised if many people argue with me here, unless it's arguing flyweight, which I'm happy to do so. But it is 155 pounds. It's the lightweight division. Basically impossible to argue against when it comes to having the biggest name value in the sport, and it really has for the last 2 decades. I mean, it has the highest level fighters in it and is the deepest for competition as well. It basically has everything you would want in the top 10 right now. We will go through it. We've got Justin Gaethje, who is the most entertaining fighter in the UFC consistently and is the champion right now. Charles, who is the best finisher in the UFC. Ilya, who is an absolute killer. Paddy, who is a submission freak. Maurizio Hufi and Max Holloway, who are some of, if not the most entertaining strikers in the UFC period. Arman, who is somehow, even though he's completely inactive, is giving us so much external entertainment that helps out the division anyway. And Quillan Salkild being one of the most well-rounded hype trains we've ever seen, who has a lot of personality as well. And all of those guys are still just the tip of the iceberg in terms of entertainment and talent, because the prospects we've got that are coming through, not even in the UFC yet, like Saladin Parnasse and Usman Nurmagomedov, are just going to absolutely shoot this division up. And then guys out of the rankings that we have, Jalen Turner, Ignacio Bahamondes, Mason Dam Jones are never boring. I could literally go on for like ages about this division. There's like 30 fighters that consistently bring entertaining fights back to back to back in this division. And even though we lost guys like Dustin Poirier, and we'll probably lose Justin Gaethje very soon, it's just not gonna matter. I mean, I miss him, but in terms of entertainment value, the depths of skill and everything, it doesn't matter. The division is just so ridiculously deep. It continues to be great. And any fighter like Justin Gaethje, Ilya, Salkild, anyone in that division, they're just continuously entertaining, unless it's a Charles versus Max BMF fight. But aside from that, there's no boring fighters. There's no boring fights. Realistically, I can't even think of a boring fighter remotely close to the top 15. So honestly, nipped in the butt. It's got the speed of the smaller divisions. It's got the power of the larger divisions. It's got the deepest talent pool. It's got the biggest and best personalities. Do I need to say anything else? Lightweight, it's the best division in the UFC, and it has been for quite a long time. All right, so from being on cloud 9 and talking about lightweight and flyweight that are divisions that just consistently feed generations, we are now going to be starving and hitting rock bottom, because we are now going through the women's weight classes. for everyone that wants to hear. We have in last place, rock bottom, it is women's bantamweight, 135 pounds. I don't think there's any argument here whatsoever. It is easily the worst division. Basically, anyone outside of the top 10 is not UFC level. It does have Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes, but they're not fighting at the moment. They've been really inactive, which sucks. And aside from that, we're not really clinging on to much because we got Juliana Pena and Raquel Pennington. Behind them, and that's pretty dust. And aside from Aylin Perez and Jocelyn Edwards, who are good fighters, we're clawing at thin air. It's a really sluggish division, barely any good skill sets there. I mean, it's as sluggish as heavyweight, except no one's got bloody KO power. So it is deep pan crusty. It sucks. But now moving on to one that's a little bit better. We got strawweight, which, I mean, at least the girls in the division have better strike speed and are actually somewhat technical. But there's a serious lack of finishes in that division, and that's a really big crux for it. I mean, it's got more names in the division who are entertaining, like Zhang Wei Li, who's definitely, we got Mackenzie Dern, Fatima Klein, and Alexia Tainara, who are coming up as well. They're all good, but in terms of finishes and just being an absolute decision merchant based division, it's not that entertaining, let's be honest here. Now, lastly, we've got the flyweight women's division, which honestly, hot damn take, is a better division than heavyweight. I prefer it because it's the better balanced division. It's got KOs, it's got submissions, it's got speed, and it's got skill overall. And it's got good technical fighters. We got good technical strikers like Natalia Silva, Alexa Grasso, Valentina Shevchenko as well, but it also gives us good ground game artists as well, like Erin Blanchfield, Jasmine Jasuda Vicious. I mean, it's easily the best women's weight class, not even remotely close, because it's got a finishing rate, it's got good entertaining fights, and it's had some nasty fucking underrated finishes. It is honestly one of the most underrated divisions overall, especially being a women's division. But overall, when it comes to the total rankings of things, as you can see, I do have the flyweight women's division over heavyweight. So I've got women's bantamweight, which is dead last. Then we've got strawweight. Then we've got heavyweight. Then we've got flyweight women's. Then we have got light heavyweight. Then we have got middleweight. Then we have got bantamweight, featherweight, welterweight, flyweight, and lightweight, which are the two just absolutely incredible divisions. No argument against them here. But with that, do let me know in the comments below if you have any differences to my list, because this was a hard video to make. It was really hard to really balance out the variables of every division, but I feel like anywhere from bantamweight down to that lightweight that I've ranked, they can all be interchangeable to an extent, but I'm pretty firm on the fact that the heavier weight classes are just not good enough, especially in comparison to those lighter weight classes. The lighter ones are just taking over, and I think that's just the biggest takeaway from this video. But as I said, do let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Please do like, comment, subscribe. It goes a long way for the channel, and I do hope to catch you in the next one. Laters.